Okay, everybody, I'm back. And we're going to talk about this full moon happening in Taurus. My system just does not want to record in landscape. So I'm going to move everything into focus while we get rejoined in here. So hang with me for a minute. I'm going to make sure you guys can see all of this astrological goodness that's coming. I may have to move. Welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. And I'm going to tell you now, if this does not work out the way I think it should, I'm going to definitely redo it and just make a single video. Okay. Okay, hi guys. So typically I like to have my face a little bit better positioned, but here we are. We're going to talk about this full moon in Taurus coming on November 12th, 2019. And as you can see, first of all, I've got a cool little moon board going for us, and I'm going to talk through the different aspects that are coming up, as well as just what this moon is about. So you may see my face, you may not see my face, but I'm going to give it a go. So first and foremost, this full moon is going to be happening on Tuesday, November 12th, 2019, and this is going to be at 19 degrees of Taurus. Okay, so this is, first of all, I am a Taurus, if you didn't know that, so I get very excited when anything's happening in Taurus. Even Uranus in Taurus, I've made some peace there. So I feel like it is such a delicious moon. It brings in all of these Tauran features, this idea of beauty, of things in the material world, things of stability. Taurus likes to build things as well that have long-term effect, right? Taurus does like to have and to gather and to possess. It loves luxurious things, things that feel good. Taurus is also an energy that just taps into nature like nobody's business. It is such a wonderful energy. Not that I'm biased or anything, right? So think about those things. How can you bring in the Taurus qualities? Because the sign tells us how we're going to get something done. And we're going to get this moon done with Taurus qualities. Okay, hello from Sweden. So now the what. We need to know the what. And the what is established by the moon. The planet tells us the what is happening. So the moon is about our emotional bodies, right? It's about our actions, our reactions, our connections to feminine energy. The moon is also a nice governor of our unconscious and subconscious minds. Now, this particular moon is a full moon. Okay, so at a full moon, we're going to end something, acknowledge something, or make an adjustment to something. As well, at the full moon, it's so brilliant because what happens is that light, an abundant amount of light, is brought to things that have been unconscious, or things that have just even been right here in our face, and they felt veiled for some reason and we just couldn't get to them. So in the full moon energy, we have a time where over the next couple weeks, it's so great to wind down projects, let things come to an adjustment if we need to make them, or acknowledge some things around us so that as we move forward, we can make the adjustments and corrections that we need, or to start or to end something that is not working for us anymore, right? That needs to be in some state of adjustment. Now, of course, as well, other things, we're going to do that ending, acknowledgement, or adjustment in the energies of Taurus. So maybe you're changing something around your food. Taurus loves some food. I love some food, right? So your food in some way, maybe your garden, we're moving into different seasons. So is it time to liven up your garden if you live in a certain part of the world? Is it time to cover your garden if you live in another side of the world? Things about finances. Taurus is in a material plane energy. It's an earth energy. Do you need to make changes to your finances? We're moving towards 2020. Do you have your money in order, right? Are you saving? You're going to have to put in the work if you're going to be okay. So is this the time where you need to relook at the structures of your money or your finances or something like that? Because this moon is going to be helpful to do that. Now, I also think personally that the dynamics that happen at this particular full moon are very good for making your dreams come true. We talked about this. I talked about this. You listened in the November forecast where I talked about the interaction between Saturn and Neptune. And this is happening during this moon. You will see it here because I'm going to show you this brilliant aspect configuration that we've got. So this is an energy where it's like in the material plane. If you will make the acknowledgments and the adjustments and maybe do something different, Uranus is in Taurus, you can actually set yourself up to make your dreams come true, to have something work out and pan out for you long term. So this is a big deal during the dynamic of this moon. Now, a couple things that I want to share with you as well. Ooh, Mercury retrograde's trying to win. The moon is exalted in the energy of Taurus. So again, puts weight on the fact that this is a positive full moon for us. We can really get something done. The moon here is in connection with Mercury, who will be at retrograde at that time. This brings brilliance to resolution of past things that have been standing in the way of us making a solid long-term future for ourselves going forward. It brings resolution, right? Your thinking, your eyes, your learning are pierced towards the back, towards the past. So you can really clean that up and make a space going forward. Maybe you even connect with someone from your past and they show you how to do things going forward. So this will be an interesting time to see how that looks in the dynamics of your life. Other things I'd like you to consider. This particular moon is connected to our last new moon that we had, and it will be the center connection to the next new moon that we will have. So think about those things at that last new moon, right? We planted seeds of intention to begin something new, to allow something to have a fresh start. What was that? You may be seeing some peaks of that across the street in your Taurus energies here at the full moon. Maybe the full moon is saying, here's what's in the way of us actually having our fresh start. Let's move these out of the way. We move them out of the way, then we get an opportunity for the next growth phase at the next new moon. So think about that as you're thinking through your moon phases, okay? All right, guys, I know you hate it and it's not my favorite, but I'm going to move my face out of the way and I'm going to start to talk to you about the aspects that are happening during this full moon because that's the real magic. So keep in mind, if you do not have a natal chart, either to pull a free one from one of the sites, astro.com, Cafe Astrology, something like that, or to come buy one so you can see where this magic is happening in your personal chart. A general reading is brilliant and very helpful, but it's so much more delicious when you can see it in your own sphere, okay? All right, my face is moving. Okay, so first and foremost, something that we want to consider if you're new or you just don't know anything about astrology or you're learning, whatever it is, the actual aspect that is happening when we have a full moon is that the sun and the moon are in opposition to each other, okay? So they are opposing each other, which highlights our needs versus our wants. Oh, okay, thank you. Our needs versus our wants. We're working in an opposing way, right? Things are going in opposite directions. So this could be inner tension that's happening for you. This could be typically, I feel like oppositions bring a lot of relationship to the table. So you could be going in a different direction than maybe your old self, your new self and your old self are going in different directions. Perhaps you and a person outside of you are in a disagreement in some way, shape, or form. These energies are moving in opposite directions, and in order to resolve them, you've got to find middle ground. Where's the compromise of the middle? Because both sides are correct, but we need something in the middle in order to move that bad boy forward. Now, because it's a full moon as well, and you're moving in opposition, your emotions may be heightened, right? Things like, it's like your instincts are on go. There's so much light on the table. You are aware of a lot of information. And so you may find yourself being struck by emotionalism, water, the energy of Scorpio up here, and your material life, Taurus, right? It's a very grounded material life. So where are your emotions guiding you rather than something in the material plane? And what's the middle ground between those things, right? Is it like, are you emotionally eating, right? This is a Taurus energy. Are you emotionally eating? But what really needs to happen for you to materially and solidly be healthy is you've got to get to the root of what's going on in that particular situation. Or where are your emotions and your material life maybe at odds with each other right now. And you could find yourself at this particular full moon, or maybe even a couple days before, feeling more tuned into the emotions rather than wanting to do what's right for your material sphere. So keep that in mind, okay? But eventually, if you look for the compromise in the middle, you can make the most out of this particular moon and allow the disharmony to begin to dissolve here. Now, we talked about it as well. There's this other aspect of the Sun and Mercury being in conjunction with each other at this time. The Sun is our light, heat, life, and vitality. So we're moving and we're very, very vital here, right? But with the Sun in conjunction with Mercury, who's retrograde, you have vitality to shed light, clear space, move things from the past. It actually helps you to solve problems. This retrograde is such a helper to us at this particular moon. Now, at the same time, I know that there is this thought out there that because it's retrograde, it's going to make this the most terrible moon ever. That's not the case that I see with the other supporting aspects that show up here. So in many different respects and variety of situations that will present itself, I think that this is actually a helper for you. Now, we've also got this Mercury being in this same opposition with the moon here. Okay, so this is lovely as well, because what happens is when the moon is in opposition to Mercury retrograde, first of all, it can make communication challenging because we're both hearing something different, but more so than anything, what I feel like it is a helper to is that it helps you to communicate your emotions. The moon is an emotional body. Now, who your communications are landing on may not be able to receive it. Like maybe they're still thinking backwards and you're having to work it out, or maybe you're just having to work some things out. This is an opposition. It does not resolve quickly. It may take a little bit of time to do that. But ultimately, I also think it's phenomenal because the full moon is lifting a veil. If you've had internal conflict or internal feelings or internal things you've been holding back, that need to come out, this is a phenomenal energy for getting the resolution to happen there. I do still think that miscommunications, misunderstandings, any of those kinds of things, misrepresentation is possible, but I don't feel like it's as pronounced at this particular full moon. It will, of course, depend on what's being lit up in your particular chart. Do continue to expect at this particular moon, because Mercury is retrograde, travel plans, communication plans, contracts can still be held up, and you don't want to respond emotionally. Instead, use some of the other aspects that are around you trying to be helpers to you, okay? Now, this full moon is also going to be in an absolutely lovely and brilliant trine to Saturn, which is going to be the next piece that helps make our beautiful aspect pattern. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so we've got the full moon happening here. Oh, let's change colors. We've got the full moon happening here, who's going to come into a trine with Saturn. Look at this marker trying not to work. So we're going to have this trine pattern happening here, okay? So that's a small piece of our picture that we're building here, friends, so don't tap out on me yet. Okay, so we've got this moon in a trine to Saturn. Now, a trine is a harmonious pocket of energy that is useful, but the opportunity, the ease, the harmony is there, which is why I also think we're not so willing to necessarily flat out fight for things right now during this retrograde or during this full moon, even though Mercury is retrograde. But this trine also helps to bring a harmony to it. But in trine to Saturn, this gives us the understanding that it's like there's an emotional stability that happens here. Saturn is not playing around. He's grounded, he's steady, he's sturdy, he's going to be traditional, he's not trying to look foolish in public, any of those kinds of things. So you actually are a little bit more grounded in your emotions. You may not love everything that you're seeing, or maybe you're having an epiphany and an insight, and you're mature and grounded enough to see it and work with it. And that is very, very important, because if you are just moving on instinct, a full moon can make you lose your tacos, and that's not anything that we need. Now, this full moon is also in a sextile with Saturn, with Neptune, okay? So we're going to see this whole other aspect happening here. So we've got this moon, and he's going like this. Watcha! Okay? It doesn't look like a very cool shape yet, but it's going to, so stay with me. So when we have the full moon in sextile, when the planets have sex, that's good for us. These are both watery energies, right? So it is so good for heightening your intuition. A full moon allows intuition, psychic activity, your sensitiveness to definitely be on go. So this is wonderful for you to be able to tap into your creativity, your imagination, look between the worlds for things, right? And I do think sometimes, especially because this moon is in Taurus, it might make you a little sexy. You know, maybe you're a little sultry at this particular moon and over the next couple months. I'm not mad at that, right? That's an okay kind of energy, but it creates a dreaminess that is on the table that we need as we connect to these other aspects, because what brilliance we've got next is Saturn in that sextile with Neptune. And this is the one I got excited about in the November video. So we've got Saturn in sextile here to Neptune. I still am mad at this marker. Hold on. That one sucks too. Okay. Saturn is in sextile here to Neptune. Now, Saturn next to Neptune sextile. When the planets have sex, that's good for us because you're going to have an opportunity that is presented to you, but you will intelligently take action on it. This is the dreams come true aspect. This is the time that says if you will be responsible, you will be mature, you will own your crap, and you will move your feet, you can make something that you want come true. Taurus here in this energy is like, yeah, and I'm going to help it be long-term successful for you. Saturn is involved here, long-term success. So bringing spiritual wisdom, bringing optimism plus hard work to the table is brilliant, is absolutely freaking brilliant. It's what you need. Yes, some people have absolutely, my goodness, been on this struggle bus, right? Tell me you haven't been feeling that. Some people have been on the struggle bus, or you've been moving, you've been working, you've been putting in the work, and it's like, my goodness, when is this ever going to take shape and turn into what it's supposed to be when it grows up, right? This is the energy that will help that happen, but you have got to help yourself. There is no business at this moon where you get to stand still and nothing happens, right? So just know, if you've been on the struggle bus, you can punch your ticket, have a nice little Taurus-shaped snack, relax a little bit, and see new ways forward and know that you're creating something solid, okay? Now, we've also got this cool little aspect happening over here between Saturn and Mercury. He will be in one of the sextiles that we were talking about in the Mercury retrograde video. So this is phenomenal. Not to mention, my friends, we've also got, I'm going to just have to use this same marker. We've also got Neptune in this trine with Mercury. So now, however much I lack artistic drawing features, we can see that we've got an aspect configuration here. We've got a shape, we've got a pattern. We have got a cradle here. Now, a cradle is an indicator that first and foremost, you're going to have to work hard for it. But here's what's happening at this moon in this aspect that you can dig into so that you have a focus on how to do the work. This cradle, because the opposition and many other connections are between Earth and water energies, this makes this particular cradle a feminine fixed cradle pattern. Okay, so in a feminine pattern, in fixed, you know, it's hard to change it, right? You've got to get the umph up and get going so that you can go in a particular direction, because fixed energy doesn't like to stop whatever it's doing. If it's stopped, it likes to be stopped. If it's going, it likes to be going. So you are going to have to dig a little bit of umph, but there's enough Neptunian inspiration to get you going. Listen to some soul music, whatever gets you jumping and pumping around will be helpful here. Have a nice meal, whatever motivates you. But because it's a feminine cradle pattern as well, what we know is that this may be the moon where, yes, you've got to be moving to get your own things to happen, to make your dreams come true, but feminine energy is receptive. Where do you need to ask for help? Where do you need to take that class in order to inform you, to move you forward? Where do you need to receive in order to deliver? Right? Like, this is brilliant, because look, if you're looking at masculine energy, I need to do, I need to do, I need to do, I need to do, you may be misusing the brilliance that this moon is bringing to your table. Instead, we've got this gorgeous aspect pattern in feminine energy that says, hey, receive, receive, be more communal. A receptive feminine energy is communal. Where do you need to work with a community of people in order to advance forward? Now let's consider something else. And if this is a little bit too advanced for you where we're going right now, that's okay. There are some advanced learners on our channel as well, and we want to speak to all aspects for them. If you can see here above this horizon line that we've got going here, the majority of the planets are up here, right? Majority of the planets are in the southern hemisphere. And this may look different on your chart. But as far as this chart, we see that it is in a space that is a lot more social. So again, we put this idea of fixed feminine cradle in a space of something social, and whether it's your communal in your community or your communal in your household, you're needing to receive from other people in a very social kind of way. That's what this moon is creating, and how you're going to do that is with the characteristics of Taurus. So you know what? One of the best ideas I think that is available at this moon is one of the easiest. Have a dinner party. Have a bath and body party, have a garden party, get yourself out into nature in some way, shape, or form. Connect with your environment and the people in your environment, whether that be your family, whether that be your community, whether that be your astrology tribe. Allow yourself to receive the benefits that other beings, other souls, other helpers are bringing to your table at this moon, and get your fingers pruny in how delicious other people can be. And the other thing I will tell you, because this opposition is in Scorpio, if you will commune, the hurts that you have going on may be healed, right? There may be things in your life where you have had to accept an apology that you have never gotten. And you go and you think you're going to just have coffee with these new people or with people that you know, and something in you is healed through the expression of another being. So allow this to be delicious. I love Taurus energy so much because it's just so decadent. It wants to indulge, it wants luxury, it wants all of these things. And if you will take this into your communal and emotional life, you can use every bit of the aspecting of this particular moon to allow a project, to allow information to come to you, right? To allow your values to be changed and heightened for something that can sustain long term. And remember, because the moon is full, maybe something has been veiled from you that you didn't know, or maybe you've been afraid, because when we're still afraid, the things that we need help on, the things that we are hurting about, the things that we want to ask a question about, they hide from the light, right? And so when a full moon comes, there's no hiding from the light. So what you need, you're able to receive what you need here if you will allow yourself to be glorious and receptive, my friends. So I'm going to move my face just one more second so you can see all the beauty that is available. Look at that beautiful cradle. You have to do a little bit of work. You have to put your back into it with a cradle, but it is worth it. So I hope that this has given you a brilliant breakdown of the moon. I'm sorry my face was in and out. I'll work on it, you guys. But I hope that this gives you an idea of how positive this particular moon can be for you. And this is just a day before this brilliant Mercury situation happens on the 11th, where Mercury walks right in front of the moon. Make sure you check out the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, and of course the November horoscopes to learn so much more about that, because it may be the day right before the moon where you make a decision, you have an epiphany, you have a moment of emotional clarity, and it changes everything for you going forward. So much love, so much light, so much delicious food at this moon. I hope you guys are having somebody over. You can have me over. You can send me like a cyber cookie and I will totally eat it, okay? I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.